Oh man, it's Robot Khaos Day, the day where we commentate Robot Khaos. Welcome to episode 10 of Robot Khaos. I'm going to keep saying Robot Khaos because it's Robot Khaos. Welcome to the video. This is Robot Khaos.
That is indeed true. This is still Robot Khaos. And looking at this big tournament implication board, only 3 episodes left until that big deciding bracket is released. Those 3 win robots, they've all sitting pretty comfortably right now. They all know they've pretty much got their spots locked in. Those 2 and 1 win bots, they still got some work to do.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of heavy hitters in that 2-win and even 1-win category. We see complete control, especially in that 1-win category. They're hoping to bounce back this year. I mean, season 5 champion. But yeah, it's time for robots. It is indeed
time. Let's look at today's fight card. As you can see, what's this? There's a fight missing. Yeah, that's because some robots were knocked out because they lost too much.
We sold them.
We did not sell them. Death by the Hit, Bot of Italy, Killer Crab, Quantum, Buzzkill, Ribbot, Tornado, Ripper, Rampage, Mammoth, and in the main event, Cyclone once again being given a very difficult match this time against Hypershock. You can speak. I'll let you speak.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's going to be a rough fight for Cyclone and Hypershock. We saw Hypershock take a lot of damage in their last fight. Let's see how they can bounce back in this one.
Definitely. That should be a fun one. But getting to this first fight, first up we have Death by the Hexbug, 2-1 so far. They've shown some pretty good promise. They had that win over Ramplane, which was not the strongest one, but they still got it. Then they beat Bung recently. Had a very fun fight, though, with Rampage recently that, unfortunately, they lost for their case, but they're still a solid robot. Win here, likely in the tournament.
Yeah, definitely. Death by the Hit, very solid. Going up against a bot like Bot of Italy, though, I mean, they never look that amazing, but they seem to win. And, you know, looking over at Bot of Italy, but let's hear what that Builder Boy has to say.
Okay, this is our last fight card match. We're gonna be facing Death by the Hit. Death by the Hit brought by It's Adam. It's Adam brought Spear to Taiwan last time. He flipped them over. Good and done. But this time, they brought a nasty spinner here. And that spinner, wow, that thing can sure spin. And it can cause a good bit of damage. But, thing about Bot of Italy, very good armor. And we can flip them over. That spinner can't self-ride them. We got it. In the bag.
Builder Boy once again very confident in his Italian flipper bot. Let this fight begin between these two very large robots. We're seeing, a few little engagements from that spinner.
Yeah, definitely some nice shots there. That's what you want if you're Death by the Hit. You want to get under that front, really knock up that spinner, and just really try and do as much damage to that flipper arm as possible.
We did see that flipper arm break in an earlier match against Cyclone, but it seems that they have well rectified that. Of course, they got their recent victory over Abomination. Let's see if they can pick up this other one here. Still trying to find that low flip. Right now, it seems like Death by the Hit doing a pretty decent job at avoiding that flipper.
Yeah, definitely. And both of these robots need to be careful because both of them can push pretty well. And with that pit being open, but there's a big flip over by that shelf.
And that's not going to be very easy for them to escape. Can't self-right. Just like how they lost to Filibuster. Getting flipped on their head, no Srimech, no chance of hope. In the end, Bot of Italy finishing their season 3-1. This robot always seems to show out pretty well in the regular season. Of course, they were undefeated last season. They look like a good threat this season once again.
Yeah, definitely. They look like a lock for the tournament. I mean, 3-1 is pretty solid and just good execution by the bot. You know, not getting too fancy, just doing what it does best, getting that nice little flip there over by the shelf, getting them over on their head, and just taking that victory. I mean, well executed by Bot of Italy.
Well done by Bot of Italy. And next up, we have the only robot still with no wins that has not been eliminated yet, and that is Quantum. It's really cool, but it hasn't won. But it's cool.
It is very cool. I mean, and it can do some damage. I mean, that Crusher is the most powerful Crusher in the field, which doesn't saying a whole lot, but it can do some damage. It can rip up your armor. And it should still be a threat, especially to a bot like Killer Crab.
Yeah, when you look at Killer Crab, it's still an improved design. However, they're very lucky to be here because Reaper is the stupidest robot in the world and basically let them win by driving into the pit. So they really shouldn't be here. But in the end, to win here, maybe you could sneak into that tournament for the 16th seed. Gonna have to really impress here, though.
Yeah, 2-2 Killer Crab would be rough to get into the tournament. But still, I mean, their hopes are still alive. They're gonna keep fighting. And this win would at least get them in the conversation. So let's see how they respond in the box.
The fight begins between Sideways Claws and Upright Claw, whatever that means. But we're seeing the ground clearance of Killer Crab might be a detriment to them in this match. Right now we're seeing Quantum trying to get in position to get that bite. Not too lucky so far, though.
Yeah, those claws definitely on Killer Crab are kind of spacing it out, allowing them to kind of steer away from that biting tooth of Quantum. And they're just kind of able to get around to the sides and push them around a little bit, but they need to be careful of that big wedge in the front.
Yeah, right now we're seeing Quantum still. It feels like both robots really aren't sure how exactly to attack each other. They're both very different designs, but now we're seeing Quantum maybe getting in a bite.
A very slow bite.
No. You see that arm raise up, not able to get the right hold they want. They really want to get something chewy like a tire they can really bite into, maybe even lift them up. We've seen it happen before in testing, but right now they're getting back into a good position. And they might have a bite.
Yeah, that's a position they want, and that's a good grab by them right now. They really need to capitalize on this.
This is a very solid hold right now. Let's see if they could maybe lure them into the arena hazards. Look like they're aiming for that hit button, and they've got it, and they have full control here.
Yeah, definitely. If they just need to push them in and let go, and it looks like that's exactly what they're going to do, and that's well executed there by Quantum.
Perfectly well executed there. That Crusher worked very well. Obviously, not a whole lot of crushing because they really couldn't get any good bite. They only hit plastic there instead of something more easily bite intoable by like a wheel. But in the end, very solid performance and their first victory. Not sure where they'll go from here, but very solid robot overall.
Yeah, definitely. Quantum, I mean, not the best season. They came in kind of late, but pretty impressive on their ability to control their opponents, and if they can improve that biting arm even more, they're really a force.
Yeah, they really do have a solid weapon in there. With a little bit more refining, maybe a bit of a lower wedge, they definitely could be a threat in future competitions, so well done to them.
And in our next fight, we're going to have Buzzkill in the arena. Now, Buzzkill is an interesting bot. I mean, definitely not the greatest in the field. 1 and 2 in Robot Khaos, but it's seen some success in the past. It can do some damage. In a fight like this against Ribot, it's going to be integral that they get that buzzsaw into action.
Yeah, that's the issue with them, is that while that buzzsaw is cool and fits with the name, the issue is that all that teeth, you can't really get good bite. And with Ribot, obviously they had that really bad start, losing to Electric Boogaloo, which no one should do. But they still have a chance here, and if they can get a win here, maybe they could find a way to sneak in, but be interesting to see what happens with them if they can pull out a victory here, even with that weak start.
Yeah, Ribot still definitely has a shot, and against a bot like Buzzkill, this is a very winnable fight for them. So both of these robots struggle with their weapons, but we're just going to have to see which robot is the stronger one in this match.
And the fight is on between these two spinners, both looking for a few answers in this fight. Buzzkill getting a few nice little shots, and looks like both of them very maneuverable. Ribot doing a very good job at trying to navigate around that spinner.
Yeah, Ribot moving much better than they were at the start of this season. It's pretty impressive, the turnaround they've had, but is it too little too late?
Yeah, that's the real question, but right now they have a good push. Ooh, a nice little deflection. That spinner of Buzzkill, very powerful. Actually, same system used in the big spinner of Top Bot, but once again, that just design not exactly ideal, and looks like they might be a little bit hung up here.
Yeah, they hung up on that back wall. Ribot needs to capitalize here. Or just let him get counted out.
They let him get counted out. That is stuck. We do not free robots from that position, and it looks like we are going to be seeing a count out start, but Ribot looks like they're trying to free them, and they will.
A solid show of sportsmanship there from Ribot. I mean, they could have taken that win, especially with their season kind of on the line in this fight.
Yeah, that definitely would have given them the win, but that's still some good aggression points by freeing a stuck opponent. That's definitely good in the eyes of the judges, and we're still seeing some pretty good contact with that low spinner. Not some huge engagement, but still, ooh,
a nice shot over there by the corner by Buzzkill.
Buzzkill, it's a very interesting design. We really haven't seen too many bots like this, and uh-oh, that hit. Ribot pushed it, and they are hung up.
Is that going to be it for Buzzkill?
That looks bad, and Ribot pushes them in. An very unfortunate end of the fight there for Buzzkill. It seemed like they were just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and Ribot good awareness, and they were able to push the pit and end that fight pretty quickly.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, solid showing from Ribot there. Definitely able to push their opponent around. Just looked much better than they have at the start of the season. I think this robot just, had a bit of a rough start. but now they're kind of hitting their stride kind of late. I mean, against a bot like Buzzkill, it's kind of hard to tell, but they seem to be kind of flourishing, you know?
Yeah, they definitely seem to be doing a lot better now. It'll be interesting to see if maybe they could find a way to squeeze in. Of course, their official record is 2-1-1. Maybe not as good as that record might indicate, but in the end, solid performance. Then we get to Rampage. Rampage, very, very interesting design here. It is not 2-3. That is wrong. Don't ignore that. But they're 2-1 this season, and if they could pick up a win here, they're definitely going to be shooting for a higher seed.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that weapon system on Rampage is very strong. They can do a lot of damage, especially to a bot like Mammoth. If they can engage that weapon, I like them in this fight.
Definitely. Looking over at Mammoth, they had a very dominant win in their last match over, I believe it was Pizza Time. But in the end, we're still looking to see what they can do here. They're still 2-1 though, and they've had some pretty dominant displays. And if win here, they're definitely a contender for the tournament, but we'll have to see because Rampage, very low bot, not a lot of places for that lifter to grab.
I mean, if you're Mammoth here, a win would almost ensure you're in the tournament, to be honest, and that's very impressive for a bot like Mammoth. So we'll have to see how both of these bots face this in the box.
And the fight is underway. Mammoth spinning up its lifter, trying to get it into action. And ooh, they've got a very good push and getting around to the back of Rampage. Of course, these robots did fight in real life. Rampage took the win there. Have to see if they can take it again in the smaller form.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want if you're Mammoth. You want to get around to the back, you want to lift them up, and you kind of want to just be a pest. And so far, they're able to kind of do that. They really don't want to get into that spinner, though.
There we go. We see them trying to aim for those wheels, obviously. It's not very destructive, but in the end, if they can get some good lifts there, we have not seen Rampage drive upside down ever, so one good flip could end it, but right now we are seeing Rampage definitely more maneuverable right now, and they are doing a pretty good job of pushing back. Very even fight so far.
Yeah, definitely. Pretty even. Rampage is able to kind of push into Mammoth, but that little lifter on Mammoth is, well, I guess it's not little, but it's definitely annoying them, kind of pushing them out of the way, allowing them to get less clean pushes, which is exactly what you want if you're Mammoth. You want to disrupt their flow, and you just want to get them to the sides and kind of flip them around.
Yeah, Mammoth once again going back into that corner. They're doing a very good job showing the control. The weapon hasn't done a whole lot yet, but in the end, you can't really say that Rampage has done a whole lot either. It's been a very tactical fight. Rampage really relying on that drive to kind of push back, see if they can maybe get some nibbles into that exposed wiring. There is a lot of exposed wiring in the back of Mammoth.
Yeah, that's definitely the one issue of Mammoth. It's just lack of armor. But if they can kind of stay here and just use that lifter, and this is great positioning right now by Rampage. Mammoth really needed to get out of that, and they do, but Rampage kind of chewing up that underbelly, and like I was saying, they just really don't have the armor to protect it since they're such a big bot.
Yeah, right now we are still seeing Mammoth once again. It's been a very back and forth fight. Once again, they're getting those little tosses at the back, but not able to get enough leverage, it seems, in order to really lift them up and over. But they are definitely getting some aggression points and control points through that. Damage, though, I guess it's really going to come down to how damaging that spinner of Rampage is right now and who can utilize those screws in the box better.
Yeah, definitely. Doesn't seem like Mammoth is taking a whole lot of damage from that spinner of Rampage. I mean, we know it's really deadly, but Rampage's not really able to get a clean hit. So this is definitely a very close tactical fight right now. A lot of aggression and control, and I think Mammoth is doing a pretty good job for what it is.
Yeah, Mammoth is really putting together a very solid performance so far. Right now, we are seeing those tusks getting a little bit bent upwards, which will probably go a bit in favor for Rampage. It looks like Mammoth having a few issues. The Rampage is too, but now they have a clean shot. If they can get a shot in the back, that's a good attack there from Rampage and getting to those back exposed bits.
Yeah, it seems like Mammoth is stuck on that back wall a little bit. Are they going to be counted out here?
It looks like nope, they are managed to be freed, but that is going to be close to the end of the fight. A very, very close one between these two bots, both really putting it all on the line here, fighting for a spot in the tournament. That's it.
Yeah, nice show by Mammoth by the end to kind of get back in that fight and get some lifts. I mean, this is a close fight. This might be the closest fight all season.
Definitely.
I mean, Mammoth looked pretty good with that lifter early on. Rampage, they really kind of shut that spinner down, Mammoth. They kind of just shut that spinner down on Rampage. Didn't really allow them to do a whole lot. And, I mean, that's kind of what you wanted if you were Mammoth in this fight.
Yeah, it's really just going to come down to how damage is scored in this one. We did see a few good attacks on the back, maybe did a few damage to those little weird things on Mammoth, but this is going to be a very tough decision. This one, feel like no matter which way this goes, there's definitely going to be some conversation here.
Yeah, surely. I mean, both of these robots put together a solid performance. Nothing amazing, but I could see it going either way. And the decision is coming in, and looks like Rampage is going to take it.
All on, it looks like they gave Rampage a lot of points there for damage with that spinner. That's really a tough one to gauge, especially considering how much damage they may have actually done, but in the end, they get the win. Very close match there.
Yeah, solid showing from both bots.
Now we have the highlighted fight. This was Ripper against Tornado. Both robots were really struggling. We don't really know why, they just really didn't feel like working. They got a few good pushes, Tornado got in a few good exchanges, but in the end, there were a few minor tosses from Ripper that eventually culminated in one big throw. And Tornado, it's not able to drive upside down, unfortunately. Ripper got the win. But getting to this main event, this should be an absolute barn burner between these two very, very powerful bots. Looking into Cyclone, they've been the definition of mediocrity throughout the Robot Khaos career every single season, but this season they have looked probably the best they ever have. Although they did stumble against Ocean Man, but a lot of robots do that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Cyclone, you're kind of saying to yourself that this is the season. Looking at 2-1, a loss to Ocean Man is nothing to be upset about. I mean, they've looked really good. That weapon seems dialed in. They're fast, they're maneuverable, but going up against a bot like Hypershock, it might be rough for them, especially since Hypershock has that big wedge.
Yeah, this is going to be quite the challenge for Cyclone to overcome. We've seen a lot of their destructive abilities. They took down Cyclone, outlasted Bot of Italy. This might be their toughest opponent yet, because Hypershock, in the end, they did take some damage to their drive system in the fight against Hive Smashin', and we have seen them, of course, lose to that horizontal style before. We'll have to see if they can recover and take down Cyclone, which would be quite detrimental to their overall tournament hopes, but still at 2-2, you never know.
Yeah, definitely. Hive Smashin' absolutely wrecked Hypershock. I mean, Hypershock didn't really even see it coming. It was just an incredible performance by them, and Hypershock really needs to bounce back in this fight against Cyclone, so we'll see how they handle it here.
And the main event is underway. Two very, very promising bots here. In the end, one will go to 3-1, the other will be down at a 500 record. Right now, we're seeing both of them trying to position. A good maneuverability so far from both. Hypershock still moving around well despite those back wheels getting hurt in that Hive Smashin' fight. Good little charge there.
Yeah, definitely. Hypershock doesn't seem as quick and zippy as they used to. I mean, those back wheels we saw, but a really nice ram there, so making me kind of eat my words.
But a tire has been yeeted off of Hypershock. Oh, a massive exchange there.
That is actually a tire.
That is a tire.
Flying off of Hypershock.
Hypershock losing a tire, but countered it with a huge hit onto that spinner. Cyclone almost flipped it there.
And it seems like Cyclone's weapon is down at least temporarily, but some good damage from both of these robots early on in this main event.
This is a very, very destructive fight so far, many ways. Some big hits there early on from Hypershock, but now that back wheel is gone. Cyclone, no weapon, but more maneuverable. This is two bruised machines right now. Have to basically have a completely new fight starting right now. Who can take this one? Who can capitalize? And who can survive despite their limitations?
Ooh, and Cyclone opening up that pit. I don't know if that's what they want, especially since Hypershock has that wedge. But definitely, I mean, these robots are really fighting through this right now. We told you this was going to be a barn burner.
Yeah, this is a very tense fight for both of these machines. Who is going to capitalize here? Both really stumbling around, not sure what to do. Hypershock trying to, they're getting close to that pit. They have to watch out.
Nice driving by Cyclone there. If they can seal the deal right here.
Cyclone has them near that pit. Hypershock in trouble, trying to get away, and they're on the edge.
They are hanging over. Cyclone can hang back and take the knockout, or they'll knock him in.
Just like that, Hypershock in the pit, and Cyclone pulls off a very impressive victory in that main event. What a fight between those two. Very destructive.
Yeah, I mean, what a performance by both of these bots. I mean, it was two different fights. I mean, once that wheel went down and came off and that weapon went down, I mean, the whole fight dynamic just changed, and kudos to Cyclone for battling through that adversity.
Yeah, there was some really big exchanges. That could have been the hit to seal it. Hypershock has a very powerful weapon, but once that wheel left, they could still move around, but definitely not with the same control, and Cyclone with a bit of planning, got them in the area, and Hypershock just couldn't get out with that reduced maneuverability.
Yeah, I mean, solid showing from both bots. Cyclone looking at 3-1, which is the best they've finished for a while. They're really saying to themselves, this is the season, and I think they might be right.
So that concluded a very, very interesting episode. A lot of robots really made some stamps at the end of their season to try to improve their resume and possibly get into that tournament. Some very dominant wins. We saw Cyclone at the end getting a very solid victory to propel themselves to 2-1 and possibly a high seed in that tournament. But looking at the big board of tournament implications, blue robots mean they are done. We're seeing 3 more robots stamp their tickets in, what it appears, with Bot of Italy, Rampage, and Cyclone all finishing their season strong.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Killer Crab, Buzz, Killer Quantum, it's not looking good for you. Those bots like Mammoth, Ribot, Ripper, Tornado, Death by the Hit, and Hypershock, all you have to do is pray. I mean, 2 wins is definitely rough for them. We'll have to see how the selection committee sees it. But that is all for this episode, folks. Thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you next week on episode 11.